Girl, let me tell you everything you need to know about light. It is literally the most important thing on Earth. It basically makes up one of our senses because without light, sight wouldn't be a thing. But, what is light? Well, you see, light can be categorized as a part of the electromagnetic spectrum, you know? In fact, more specifically, they're EM waves, which are basically transverse waves consisting of electric and magnetic fields oscillating at right angles to one another. Basically, it just means that there are a lot of squiggly lines in space, but light is the range of frequency of the EM spectrum that stimulates the retina in the human eye, which is basically the waves from 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers in wavelength. We can only see a few colors, like the most basic Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then depending on the person, there are other shades of colors that they can see themselves, which is pretty spectacular. And girl, you don't even know how crazy fast light travels. It literally goes 300 million meters per second. So that's basically why light can cover the distance from the sun to the earth in just a mere 8 minutes. There are two formulas you can associate with this speed. C equals d over t, which is distance for d, and time for t. And c being the constant speed of light. In a vacuum, of course. This one is typically used when you want to figure out how far something went in a certain amount of time, or how long it'll take for something to travel in a certain amount of distance. And the second formula that is typically used is C equals F lambda. This one is typically used when you want to figure out the frequency or the wavelength of an EM wave. Now, there's this whole thing with light and matter. See, without light, as I previously stated, we cannot see. So, there are two types of objects when it comes to matters of light. There are objects that illuminate, and there are objects that are illuminated. So, luminous objects are bodies that emit light. The best example of this in our galaxy is the sun. Now, illuminated objects are basically things that reflect light in order to become visible. A perfect example of this is the gorgeous moon at night. The moon reflects the rays of the sun in order for it to be perceived by humans on Earth. The moon itself does not create any light, and thus it is considered a illuminated body. Now, there are different types of matter when light is involved. There are transparent, translucent, and opaque. Transparent light transmits all light through without distorting the image, which basically means you can clearly see through it. So, like glasses and water. A translucent matter transmits some light, but objects are distorted, like frosted glass, because you can still see the image, but it's not really what the image looks like. And finally, there is opaque matter, which absorbs light and turns it into heat energy. So basically, any solid object doesn't allow light to be shown through, like a curtain. Now, I mentioned before that light is broken down into Roy G. Biv, the primary colors of the rainbow. But when light is combined, it is considered white light because all colors are represented. Black is actually the absence of light, so when you're in a dark room, the reason you see black is because there's no light being reflected to your retina, so your mind does not process any information for vision. Now, in light, there are three primary colors: red, green, and blue. And when you combine them, you get white light. Now, there's also complementary colors, which are a direct result of combining the three primary colors. When you combine green and red, you get yellow. When you combine green and blue, you get cyan. When you combine blue and red, you get magenta. So yeah, that's basically everything you need to know about the colors of light. Well, that's all I have to tell you about the magnificent world of optics in physics.